Are you a coder who gets rejected based on no practical experience or because others have a strong LinkedIn personal brand and you don't? Your coaching institute will hate me for doing this, but I welcome you to Code to Career 30 Days Challenge, where I have chosen these 5 total strangers out of my LinkedIn contacts and have taken up the challenge to help them go from jobless or underpaid to well paid job, that too without additional degrees and certifications in the next 30 days. If you are a coder and wants to get a well paid job, this is your golden chance to experience real project implementation from scratch that gets you a well paid job and builds your LinkedIn personal brand and also resume for absolutely free. So why just watch? Get into our WhatsApp community to experience this. Link is in the description. Now let's get started.
So let me give the permission for multiple participants sharing. Yes, let's start with sequence diagrams. Who has done sequence diagrams? You can share the screen and we'll go. Amrut, let's start with you. I
Okay.
think you are already experienced. You would have done so many sequence diagrams by now.
Yeah, I can share. Let's just say, trying to open up. Let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I just for adjusting temperature, I just drew this as case. Sorry, the
Can
sequence
you make
file.
it a bit big?
Okay. Yeah, just otherwise. Mm, just select. That's got stuck. That's fine.
The screen got stuck.
Yeah, that's just
So in the meantime, Shubhankar, can you share the screen?
okay. I can show now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see my screen.
Yeah, yeah. Now it is clear. Yes.
Yeah, so main actors I just try to define, at least at the top level, the user and the UI interface which he'll be accessing. Some a middleware. This part I tried to uh, just abstract a little bit, and UART and the thermostat. So this is mainly for just adjusting temperature, the sequence for that. First, probably, yeah, I'm just doing the authentication process first, so that this is for adjusting temperature use case, right? So
Now let us
uh,
go deep because you are scratching the surface. So from the user to user interface, what is that reverse arrow?
this one,
Yeah.
let's just say if the you and not enter anything or like incorrect data.
Yeah, but what does the dotted line signify? Something has to be written there, right?
Okay, any of the error cases I just thought that.
Yeah. So the written thing should be and login information HTTP request.
But that's what if it gets authenticated and failed, then I'm returning the complete error. But any initial UI interface, like basically if, for example, character or such, those are just you're not actually sending any request to the middleware, but it's just in the UI itself. If any incorrect, for example, you're instead of name, you just enter numericals. That's it.
Okay, so what is that HTTP request?
Yeah, so this is once you enter username and password, those things will be packeted into the your your HTML or whatever the request format, and then sent to your middleware.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is user interface doing that HTTP request? How is user interface responsible for HTTP request?
Okay, you have to separate that out then.
No, it's not the question of separation.
Hmm.
User interface should have no understanding of HTTP, right? User interface, whatever the user entered, maybe in a checkbox or radio button, or explicitly he typed something and he said submit, or she said submit, then the information comes. But why is that user interface has to take the responsibility of creating a HTTP request? Can you show me see, because everything is now user interface is a class or struct, right? Can you show me
Correct.
the CRC diagram of user interface?
Okay, I don't have it on this. I don't have it here actually.
So in
Okay,
your
no.
CRC, okay, it's not an issue. So in the CR, when you are doing the role play of user interface, did you write saying that HTTP request is my responsibility? Did you do that?
Okay. No, I did not. Okay, I did not take that into consideration.
So you took as a responsibility.
Yeah. Because this will that will call that function within the UI interface C code itself. It will packet that whole thing when in the UI interface. Yes. That responsibility is part of UI interface program. Yes. Is
Okay.
that wrong?
What do other people think?
Is that wrong?
So do you also people think that the HTTP request framing the data, which is the login information as a HTTP request, should it be made part of user interface, or should it not be made part of user interface? What do you people think? Shubhankar, Anirudh, Chaitanya, Aditya. Okay, why not a part of user interface? If you say no, why? If you say yes, why?
The other alternative is how would you in your interface, how you have to send the username and data string to something, right? You will have to do that function call. So
Yes,
directly you'll
how to
be,
send?
so instead of that, you would send it in the function call as arguments, and then later frame it as a HTTP packet to the further either to get it.
See, looks like you are mixing so many things.
Okay.
You are saying that you are thinking that because I am calling a function, it is my responsibility.
Right.
That's a collaboration, right? It's not a responsibility.
Okay.
Hope you are able to recollect the CRC thing.
Yes. I mean, yeah, the top level, you define the class, you define their respective responsibilities, and each of the responsibilities later you'll assign the what all it collaborates with.
You find responsibilities.
Okay.
When you are doing role plays, you will get collaborations, but sometimes even during role plays, you may figure out some responsibility because somebody says that I want this. Then you understand that, oh, okay, he needs it or that class needs that, but I don't have it. Actually, it is my responsibility. Then you go and modify your CRC card by adding that extra responsibility. How many of you are getting this? How many of you are getting this?
Can you give a better example of like what responsibility like in C code, like a function, and then the collaboration function? How do you interface?
If you want to work with me personally, where I guarantee to work with you until you secure a well paid job, book a one on one call with me. Link is in the description.
This, or like you call it as a module?
Both are
Or,
functions.
okay, independent functions. All right. So you write.
No, not independent. I'm not bringing those terms. So see, the more you bring terms, you will get confused.
Okay. Okay.
Both are functions.
Okay.
Responsibility is what you do. See,
Okay.
you stay. Let us say you stay alone. You cook.
Right.
I cook. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you want to, let us say any other activity that maybe there is some activity that you have to collaborate with your roommate to do something. Let us say cleaning house.
Okay.
People who are staying as bachelors, when they say that, okay, today is your responsibility to work or cook. So that responsibility. But when they are cooking, they can collaborate, 2 or 3 people can collaborate, saying that you do this thing, I will do this thing.
Okay.
So that's a collaboration. See, these are pure English terms. We are going with pure English stuff only. We are not deviating from that.
Okay.
And the class names are supposed to be nouns. The responsibilities are supposed to be verbs.
Okay.
Again, I am saying, if you people did not write that essay, nothing will go further. You will always fall into trap. You should every time go back to your essay only.
Yes.
From there, the use cases come. From there, the class diagrams come. From there, everything comes. So here is the question. How many of you have written that essay? Be honest. I want to see. Type
Hello,
none.
sir.
Uh,
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So, actually, I have earlier written one, but that I was not satisfied with that. So I have started writing it again. I I have written it very less only, but like, can you go through it once? As that, like, is it like on the track or not?
I know. I can see where you are coming from. What you're saying, that you always say this, but what should I write? Okay, I keep on writing. I keep on writing. The reason why I am so much stressing on this one aspect of writing that essay is you will understand the most important thing that many people fall into, which is analysis of paralysis or paralysis of analysis, the other way around. Because see, now if you see his sequence diagram, now what his sequence diagram is, the intention is very clear, adjusting the temperature. It is doing that, right? There is a flow. If I, at a very high level, if I go with the flow, that what he is saying, arrow wise, literally traveling through arrows, I understand that, okay, what he is trying to do, I understand. Correct? All you are with me, type yes in the chat box. His sequence diagram is trying to tell what is his intention, yes or no. His intention is very clear. He named it very appropriately. He told, this is the username, this is the password, this is the login information. But because he did not write the essay, because he did not create the correct use case, that he did not spend time on the requirements, in the sense, I'm not saying that in case the Kamruti has not spent, but somebody has not spent time on the requirements, then did not come with the complete documentation, visit it, revisit it to such an extent, saying that now I can take the next step of creating use case diagram. You will have a sense of that, because you cannot go beyond something, right? See, you try to even fabricate something, tell, start waving hands and do all these things. At some stage, you will say that, bas, ho gaya. And there you will start use case diagrams. Then the use case diagrams will be now more refined because you know how the actor is actually interacting with the system. Now you start talking more about use case diagrams. You get the top level use case diagram, then you figure out in this particular interaction, which are the entities coming into existence. You do the CRC card technique. Now in the CRC card technique, you will say that, for example, let us see his diagram. In the CRC card technique, when he creates a class UI interface, responsibilities and collaborations, he will not say anything different or he will not say something new, which is not there in SA. Are you clear with that? Do you agree? He cannot say also. I should not say he will not say. He cannot say because already his story is there. He's saying that the user interface will do this, and now he's converting that using that mental model or a hack of CRC card. He's now writing the statement that he made or he has written in the essay as a function name or something. Making sense? Because his essay was not capturing the UI part, what he wanted to do, the disconnect happened there. It percolated all the way till sequence diagram. How many of you understand it? Amrut, is it making sense now? Why the user interface HTTP
Yes.
stuff actually come? Because
Yes.
somewhere when you were writing that essay, you did not capture that, saying that it's the user interface will do that.
Correct. So I have,
Or it could be the other way around, that you have written the essay, but there itself you made this decision that UI will do that. See, I'm not saying whether it is correct or wrong. What I'm saying is, if your essay says that UI is going to do that, then yes, UI will do that.
right. So for exactly stating out, I have written it, the requirement in terms of points. I do refer to it as an idea what it needs to be doing each when you draw how the flow goes, but connecting it to the exact function names to the flow, that is something which I'm facing trouble with.
CRC card, that role play somewhere that is missing, I think.
Yeah, I'll just share the CRC what I've drawn. This one is good. You can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a class.
Okay.
So, user input. So this the collaborations I understand, which I've written it down. But it's just that how do I link it to this sequence diagram? Yeah, that would be a better answer. Yeah, or like, because you said CRC diagram method, right? That's a method how you visualize what functions come in your .c and .h file. Like, but
okay, that's why I told not to get into the class mode, because class is an entity where it will have member functions as part along with attributes. It makes a complete entity, and we can talk of something called as object, because here we don't have that facility of having a class. I told think as a .c and .h. Now here is the question: when you create user interface .c, when you create user interface .h, in that header file, do you want to include create HTTP request function or not? That's the question.
okay, sure, why not?
Yes, if you take that decision, then that's what I'm saying. The design is right or wrong. There is always there in the right or wrong, in the sense good or bad is there, not right or wrong. Now the issue is, whenever user interface changes, I have to again validate HTTP. See, let us say the user interface changes from touch buttons to touch screen or to voice. Because you made HTTP part of user interface, Along with user interface, every time that HTTP server also gets validated. Is it necessary?
Okay.
So you are creating that coupling.
Okay.
See, I'll be very honest. 1 month or 1 week is way too less to understand the design. So my sincere suggestion is, do not fall into the misconception or illusion that I got the things. No, we are not even scratching the surface.
Right.
You are just being introduced that there is something like this. And yes, with the information that is coming to you, if you put additional hours, you will go to a level wherein you will see the structure slowly evolving. So do not fall.
If you want to work with me personally, where I guarantee to work with you until you secure a well-paid job, book a one-on-one call with me. Link is in the description.
Into the misconception that because I have done something, I understood. We did not even actually draw something very important called class diagrams. If you go to bigger projects, you will see class diagrams, you will see multiple inheritance. Maybe in Java, you will not have inheritance. So many things are evolved. We are not even talking about UML's notation. If you go and look at UML notation itself is very, very vast. There are courses that people completely talk about UML and they take hours and hours to talk about notation. There are activity diagrams, object diagrams.
Yep.
What I am trying, so from that, CRC card is an entirely different entity which was discovered, not discovered, it was invented.
Okay.
And outside of actual UML process, the creators of UML did not even speak about CRC card technique. There was somebody, other person, who said that this is a simple hack with which the classes can be derived. And they wrote a complete book on that. I showed you the book also, right? The CRC card book.
Yeah.
So the UML process, which was created by those people like Ivar Jacobson and all those people, plus the CRC card technique, when they used together, you get a much more refined design. So you need to go through this cycle multiple number of times. Like Subhankar already told, I wrote once, I am writing again. Yes, it has to happen. It's not by accident. That is how it has to happen.
Right.
So now go back again and think how strong you want to have coupling between user interface and HTTP. Any issue with HTTP server, do I have to again open UI interface.c or do I have to open HTTP.c? So we need to understand. We also have to think like, how can I localize the bugs? How can I write, for example, now here if I write UI interface test cases, I have to write test cases. It will eventually include test cases for HTTP also, because your user interface is somewhere calling HTTP. Rather, I know user interface will call HTTP, but the HTTP functionality testing, I want to keep it separate. Is it making sense? Type yes in the chat box. So now in your middleware, the middleware can be actually one class or one structure, which is JSON parser, another structure called HTTP. Between those, they can call. You are getting my point? For example, the user interface will have a socket connection. If you know about socket programming, the user interface will have a socket connection.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Got it.
see the draw IO, these all things are good because they provide all the things. But these diagrams, right? These tools, if it is not a UML tool, right? It will not have a relationship between the use cases and all those things. But if you use free tools like Star UML, or if you have Enterprise Architect, which are proper UML tools, you create something, then that object is automatically understood by the software and it is used across other UML diagrams seamlessly. You don't have to drag and drop, it understands that, oh, there is a use case, there is this actor. These tools are there for drawing, but these are not there for actually developing UML diagrams. So if you use star UML, which is freely available, I think on Windows, I know it is for sure. Mac, I don't know. It should be. But in Linux or other places, there are many tools that are available.
Right.
Just type for UML in the App Store or somewhere, you will get.
Sure.
And use that, then you will see that, acha, I created a use case and I drag and drop the actor, then the actor will come and its lifeline also will automatically get drawn.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Because see, when you have that middleware, right?
Mhm.
Login information is coming and touching the line.
All right.
But by the time the thick line actually shows that the object is active. But what is happening now in your diagram? When I see your diagram, it is telling me that when the login information comes, there is nobody to receive.
Oh, okay. Right. That's
Did you get the point?
yeah.
And another thing is when the system comes up, I would have already created an initialized HTTP server and it is already running. So it will be a thick line. Now now you see after that line where login information has come rejected or something, there is a break in that line, which means the object is dead or what? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
See, I have seen some people, not only here, even in my office, some mentees and some juniors and all those things. They would have come from some organizations. They would have heard these terms as part of their work. They would have seen some diagrams and they concluded that they know everything. No, I'm sorry. Just because in your project people are taking those terms and you have seen some diagrams doesn't mean that you know everything. Start with this essay and all those things. Rather, I want you to discover for yourself like how depth you can go with this analysis and make a robust system. And in this whole process, don't fall into that conclusion that, okay, now I understood. Because there is no right design, there are no wrong designs. But yes, there are good designs and bad designs. Good designs wherein everything is, there is separation of concerns, there is no overlapping, changing somewhere will not affect anywhere, some good design. But bad designs, because I do some change somewhere, some other bug comes.
Yeah, we can.
Clear?
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah, go ahead.
we were stopping at right. So we will separate the HTTP from the user interface. That will be
So you can split your middleware into two things. So today
okay.
I'm going to show one HTTP server that I have used it and I have modified it left and right when I had my startup.
Okay.
I have used one JSON parser, which anyways, I choose, I have already given the playlist link and all those things, right? If you see. But HTTP server this server is something which I have used because it was already provided by the Texas Instruments. We used Texas Instrument board. So they had that SDK, and in that SDK, they already had this particular HTTP server. But for our requirement, we added lot of layers, removed lot of things, and made it very, very lightweight. Now I'm going to show you that code, which is the HTTP server code. I will send you the GitHub link also. And I will show you not the top level thing. The top level thing in the sense where the information is coming from. As a socket or something, from a socket. First, I will show you how after the HTTP server gets the information, parses it, understands everything, then it has to send to some network device, right? Okay, now you send the data. There, removing that network part, or maybe that Ethernet or something, Wi-Fi, and you put a UART call. That's it. Clear?
Yeah.
And in the reverse way, typically when a byte comes to UART gets interrupted. Here, we are saying that we are discounting that interrupt. Yes, in the physical hardware that happens, but here I will send, maybe I will start a timer, assuming that it has gone, understood, thermostat sent a response, and I will make a call to read again within the same system. If you know that local looping, like local IP address 127.0.0.1, it's a local loop, right? So something like that. Clear? Anybody has any doubt in the things that were discussed and all those things? Yeah, you can stop here.
If you want to work with me personally, where I guarantee to work with you until you secure a well paid job, book a one-on-one call with me. Link is in the.
Yeah, thank you. Aditya, Sagar, Chaitanya, Shubhankar, any question?
Vamsi, I have also I have also coupled this one, the actors user interface and the HTTP.
Yeah, because there was overlap when I said that function call is there, the responsibilities and the collaborations got overlapped, but they have to be separate, because you collaborate with someone doesn't mean that it is part of your class. You are calling that function. So in typical C++, you actually send a message. And when you send a message, it will be object dot that message. In Java also it is object dot, the dot operator is there, right? Object dot message. Now when I say object dot message, it is not your thing, right? There is other class which is there, which is having that. Getting my point?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the collaborations and responsibilities are separate. Collaborations means somebody's responsibility, but you are calling because you want some work to be done. As simple as that. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyone wants to show their sequence diagram? Like for example, he has done adjusting temperature. Any different use case that you have taken and you have created sequence diagram? Anyone?
Can I show my sequence diagram, sir? I'm Raghavendra.
Yeah, go ahead and share.
Sir, actually, I have drawn in UML, but I have saved. But when I open that
No, you can show the
files,
screenshots.
it is not
Okay.
open.
Yeah, you show the screenshots because you can import, you can export them as images also, right?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello. Yeah.
I have tried like this, sir, but is it right or not? I don't know. But I have got
No, there
I
is
got
nothing
some
like right
idea.
or wrong, right? Now this is more clear. How many of you instantly when you see this, it is making that, oh, okay, this is how it is happening. How many of you are getting that clarity? Type in the chat box. Just by looking at diagram, how many of you feel that, okay, now this is I understand the flow now, what is happening? Yeah, convert it, set the temperature, user interface took that, then it is asking JSON to convert into JSON. JSON did that, JSON parser did that, and then it is saying HTTP, this is the data, go and convert it into HTTP thing. HTTP is saying, yes, I did that, and it is sending to UART. UART is sending it out, it is reaching thermostat. Thermostat is saying success, then yeah, short circuited everything, and it has to actually come to again HTTP, some HTTP packet will come, and again you will do the reverse JSON parsing and you will send it. If you neglect or discount the low level part where the information response is coming, but from the high level, how it is traveling, it is clear, right? Yeah. Now, this has to be converted into code. This is where JSON parser and HTTP server are already done for you. The source code is there. You need to write that logic from your user interface, which could be as simple as scanf and call the JSON function. JSON function will call HTTP. HTTP will call a UART driver code, the send function, and you fake it, start a timer, come back. Timer in the sense, even you don't have to worry about timer. You put a big delay loop with some for loop, stay for that amount of time, assume that the value is there, and again read the file, so that your function flows. If you have put the printfs, right, they all gets printed in sequence. Clear? Okay, Raghavendra. Great.
Can I show two more diagrams for get temperature digit right? Can I
Yeah,
show that?
go ahead.
Sir, here I have one doubt.
Yeah, most of the thing it is
Sir,
clear. Yeah, send success, send data via UART. HTTP packet again has come. You converted, you go from JSON to normal packet. Yes, fine. This is more clear. This is what I was talking about.
sir, in previous diagram, is it needed response also need convert into HTTP packet and again into normal from JSON to normal data? Is it
Yeah,
needed in
yes, it has to be like
in
that,
this?
right? It has to be like that. Because when you are sending a
Okay,
HTTP packet and you expect that the response also comes as a HTTP response only.
like
Yeah,
this diagram.
yeah, like that diagram. Yes.
Okay, sir. And for temperatures.
Okay. Yeah. So let
Okay,
me
sir.
share the screen. You can stop sharing. Before that, we have concern.
If you want to work with me personally, where I guarantee to work with you until you secure a well paid job, book a one on one call with me. Link is in the description.
Consolidated the information, who has done what, I mean, posting and all those things. So I would like to showcase where people stand. This is too big. Okay. 5 people looks like they hate they hate LinkedIn, and they want to be up. They don't want to come into the world. Fine. Few people started, 3 people started, and then sudden drop. Few more went to second stage, which is in the first week, second half, and one person. Not everyone did every day a post, but we took that somebody is doing these many number of posts. It means those many number of days at least has been consumed in terms of posting. So here is the scoreboard. So Aditya, he has done 9 posts, Chaitanya 6 posts, Raghavendra 40, Mohammed 40, Viresh 30, Subankar 30, and under 20. Remaining people, they are yet to start their accounts. Yeah. So that's the thing. Now let me share the screen and show the code. So first of all, I will show you the code, which is the GitHub link. So I will share that GitHub link in the sheet, I mean, well, GitHub link anyways, I'm going to show. So I'll directly show the code. Let me do that. That's more easy.
If you want to work with me personally, where I guarantee to work with you until you secure a well paid job, book a one on one call with me. Link is in the description.
Are you able to see the IDE? So this is the HTTP server code. There is a corresponding client code also. So quickly, let me show you the files. Sometimes the files will be way too many, but we don't need so many files. Base 64, some number crunching, data types, some declarations, authentication. It has inbuilt authentication. So if you use this code, the authentication part for you is automatically taken care. And some configuration of the HTTP server, like you want to say whether the HTTP server can do this, should do this, can't do this, all those configurations. It is a collection of macros. Core.c and core.h are the actual server implementation. Those two files actually has the server implementation. Debug macros and debug implementation. Dynamic, when you want to show a dynamic page. For example, you have a HTTP, you have this, imagine for a moment, this code is there running on an embedded device. And it has everything like a single board computer. And it has a IP address. Now I connect my laptop to that embedded board and I say, I go to the web browser and I give the IP address. Now the connection TCP IP packet goes, it identifies who is that person. The embedded board will respond. And here from the web browser, I am making a request. Send me whatever is there. If the information that is coming from the server is not static in the sense that it can send images and all those things, that kind of dynamic handling, like I want to do some dynamic changes on the website and that has to be shown, the server will handle those kind of things using these files. HTTP headers are nothing but, if you remember the HTTP packet, I told key value pairs, right? That key value pairs are here. Request, response, socket. Now we are not getting into the socket thing. Now the socket code which is there, which is implemented here, is the one that gets called by the application. Application should have certain entry point into the web server. Agree? Application wants to send certain data, so it has to have an entry point. That entry point is here. For you, ignore all these things, directly call some function which takes your data and directly creates a HTTP packet. And that means core.c and core.h, if you concentrate, which I'm going to show now, is more than enough. Static is showing a static page to the client. Yes. HTTP string is the collection of, this file is collection of all the string operations. Because at the end of the day, whatever is the data, whatever is the key value pairs, everything that you see in an HTTP header or something is all string manipulation only. So these people, so that they don't want to depend on outside libraries, essentially they don't want to depend on string.h. They created their own string utilities and they have put it here, the corresponding header file. This is encryption. String library is here. HTTP string is nothing but wrappers over the standard string library. SHA1, SHA-C is the C.C is the encryption. One is authentication, one is the encryption. This is the string library. This is the HTTP sugar-coated wrappers over string library. And these are web sockets. I also did not get any time into web sockets. It's something very hi-fi in the sense, I never bothered about it. It's an application stuff. Some people might be knowing, but I never used that. I told that I have removed certain code and made it completely very, very lightweight for my embedded device. In that process, I removed that socket handler also, web socket handler. Is the folder structure or file structure clear? Any questions here? Now let us go to the core file. The first thing is, forget about this OSI, sync object and all those things. These are high level OS stuff. And especially this is like, because this is for Texas Instruments, Texas has their own OS, and this is an application which has been, or this is a source code which can be used across multiple real-time operating systems. So there has to be a wrapper, and this is that. This is finally creating some kind of object, synchronizing object, could be mutex, semaphore, anything. But these are a high-level constructs. file handle. You will come to know about file handle. This is the delay. This is also some high-level APIs which internally calls specific RTOS or specific OS-related sleep functionality. Enums. Let us now go to the enums which are related to this particular server. An enum for connection state, whether it is inactive, request headers, drop, request data, the different stages through which the server will travel through, all are consolidated into this enum. Now these are the handlers. These are individual handlers for different things. Wherever you see enum, put it in your mind that somewhere in one switch case, these will be getting called. It's as simple as that. Now, this is important. This is the struct HTTP connection data. Once a connection happens, every detail, every information of that particular connection is stored here. This is one structure that actually gets populated. This is the structure that actually gets deallocated. If this structure is there, which means that connection is there. If the structure is not there, then the connection is not there. Clear so far? Can I go ahead? Any question? Type C if you are clear with this so that I can go forward. It's a huge file, but few functions I will skip. Okay. Now let us go further. Global state, forget about it. It doesn't matter so much. Somewhere it will be used because he wants to create the global state of HTTP server for some client to know. Main functions are these. These are the forward declaration of all the static functions. Initializing the web server, handling the request packet. It will handle the request packet coming from the client. Which enum? Aditya, there are many enums. So which enum are you talking about? Otherwise, I will come back after some time. So these are the functions. Handling the request packet, method line. So what is this method line is? Every method line will go through all the headers. All the lines which are there in headers, like type, whatever we discussed yesterday, that type of the version of the protocol, version of the HTTP, type, and all those other things, length of the packet, everything will be scanned line by line and it will do that. Handshake response, these are WebSocket things, so we are not getting here. Handle request data, run HTTP server. This is the main function, which will start the thing. So close server, because you started HTTP server, this is a function you call to close it. And if you see, it is all socket thing. So for now, forget about all the socket things. Let us go to one of the most important thing, which is the running the HTTP server. Now, if you go run HTTP server, this is where your server starts and it is listening for the clients. How many of you understand this type of behavior of a server? That when people say that
if you want to work with me personally, where I guarantee to work with you until you secure a well-paid job, book a one-on-one call with me. Link is in the description.
that they start a server, what do you people actually know about this concept called somewhere somebody saying that the server is online, the server is started? Anybody has any questions in this, or anyone is hearing for the first time saying that, okay, I don't understand really what this server, what this client and all those things? I would like to dwell on that so that this function makes clear sense to you. This is a little bit heavy stuff. It takes a little bit of time for you to understand, but the code is very, very simple. It's not so complicated. First time, Ajay Kumar. Yeah. So when you start a server, imagine server is somebody who is like a shopkeeper who opens the shutter and sitting in the shop waiting for the customers, always in a while one loop. You go to a shop, you have something to buy. The shop owner is ever ready to sell you, yes or no? Yes. Agree to this point? Imagine all the clients are those customers coming to server or going to shopkeeper. So the shopkeeper is always in a while one loop. Is there any client? Is there any client? Is there any client? If there is any client, it serves. Like a shopkeeper opening the shutter and sitting saying that, is there any customer? Is there any customer? Customer comes, customer asks something. If the shopkeeper has that goods, he or she will sell it. Else, he will say, sorry, I don't know. So if you ask a server something and the server says that, I don't know, I don't have it. That's why you will get in your web browser also, file not found, all those kind of errors, right? You see page not found on all those things, because the server is saying that you asked me something, but I don't have it. As a customer who goes to a shop and the shopkeeper is saying that I don't have that particular good. So you can have this simplest example. This bare minimum understanding is sufficient to understand this code. So let me go to the code now.
If you want to work with me personally, where I guarantee to work with you until you secure a well-paid job, book a one-on-one call with me. Link is in the description.
See this thing. The names are very clear. First, we are creating a socket. This is where now you start. In your function, what happens is, here you don't worry about socket. You don't worry about any kind of abstractions and all those things. Your HTTP server, even though you are using this kind of functionality, assume that the global data of whatever the user entered, 25 degrees, 30 degrees is already available. You are not getting from anyone. You are directly getting from here, from the user only. And then you are saying client socket. You are creating another thing, which is number of connections. This is the create a listener socket for HTTP server. And this is for only once. After that, you don't create multiple sockets. So I don't want to get into much into these details. Understand that server is listening, client is speaking. In our case, no listening and no hearing. Directly you make a call to the JSON. JSON will send to the HTTP server and HTTP server will send out. Simple. Understand that your lightweight HTTP server expects that some information is coming to it. That's it. Finally calls a UART call and it will send it outside. Let me show you one code wherein you will see where you can add your not this connection. Yeah, I think this is the function. Inactive. This is the one. After socket options, return socket. Somewhere it will send, it will do a send operation. Closing this, accept retry, connection data that can be received now. It has received the data now. Handle request packet, close connection. I'll send you that link, but I am trying to show one piece of code of HTTP server that I am familiar with. But if you sit on ChatGPT or if you can browse on GitHub and all those things.
If you want to work with me personally, where I guarantee to work with you until you secure a well-paid job, book a one-on-one call with me. Link is in the description.
You will get multiple pieces of code. ChatGPT also can create a lightweight web server if you give a correct prompt. GitHub has so many implementation of HTTP server. How many of you are feeling that this is a little bit heavyweight? So that we can work out something where this can be sorted out. Because you don't have to implement this, but the crux is actually using it. And to use it, you need to know something. And that's where the learning part is. As I told earlier, you are not going to implement JSON parser, you are not going to implement HTTP server. You may have to implement a little bit of UART code, but the code which you write that will stitch these codes, it will be a little bit complex. Because to write that glue logic, you need to understand what this code that you are trying to use actually does. So Raghavendra says they have difficulty in understanding these things. Aditya says he also has difficulty. Who has difficulty? So that we can I'm thinking of tomorrow that a bonus session wherein we will go through it. I will tell the basics that, okay, what is the server client and how HTTP as a application protocol and a little bit of server client interaction. So Anirudh says, yes, he also has this difficulty. Who else? Ajay, I understand. So Sagar, you are aware of all these concepts?
Yes, like concept wise I'm aware of.
No, can you have your mouthpiece near to you?
Oh yeah, sorry. Now,
Yes, yes.
yes, yes, I am aware of these terminologies. Have worked on it in the past. Like,
Okay. And Chaitanya, you are familiar with these things?
Yeah. Once I go to the code, I can catch up with it.
Yeah, I'm not asking about the code, but the theoretical background which is needed to understand that code. I'm specifically asking that aspect.
Yeah, I'm also new to this, like the client server. I haven't done that before.
Okay, understood. So Amrut, you are familiar with these concepts?
Yeah, theory, and I have a implementation idea in other language, Python. And
Okay, did you do some socket programming earlier?
yeah, in Python, yeah. So only thing is I have to correlate with specifically .c code. So yeah, that will be whatever, little bit.
Yeah, Python, you will have 4 or 5 lines, you are done.
Yeah.
Okay. But the fundamentals of client server, what it is,
Yes.
and all the things you are aware of.
Yes, you set up the server, we can.
Okay. So Raghavendra needs, Ajay needs. Then tomorrow we can have a session. 7:30 to 8:30 I have. Yeah, tomorrow again at 9:30 for half an hour. How many of you are ready so that we can just have a very well-defined session for half an hour where I explain this code also and fundamentals behind this code. How many of you are available tomorrow at 9:30? Ajay is available, Subhankar is available, Anirudh, Chaitanya. Okay. Yeah, then I will send a separate link for this and we will join there.
If you want to work with me personally, where I guarantee to work with you until you secure a well paid job, book a one on one call with me. Link is in the description.
But the thing stay is that you have to write the plumbing code in such a way that your 25 degrees or 30 degrees seamlessly flows through all these functions. That's the crux. Whether it is getting through a JSON format and then it gets sandwiched or embedded into a HTTP packet and sent through UART. That is what we have to achieve. Now to push it from one layer to another layer is what the glue logic you have to write. But which function to pick up, how to pass the parameter, for that you need to have a bit of understanding about the code. Making sense? So your learning part is understanding these things. And many a times, understanding the source code as to what it does itself means a lot during interviews. How many of you have faced this? Like if you go to an interview and they ask how does an HTTP server works, and you have seen this code twice, thrice, and you understand how it works, and you tell it, that itself means a lot. How many of you agree to this? Because not everyone knows that how a HTTP server works. Because more or less, if you see in every organization, somebody is an expert because somebody knows that code like back of their hand. They have been with the code. With that, because of that experience, they have an understanding of other code that when they go and they see it, they will be able to fix the problems because they would have by that time accumulated enough information, the subject matter already. Just the implementation changed. So spend time with one web server and understand these things, what is there. Slowly you can gain those skills or subject matter that you can use it to understand another implementation. So tomorrow, let us focus on this thing. Clear? So please confirm to Ajay who are all coming so that Ajay will send you the links for joining tomorrow's class. Yeah. So any questions till now? Going forward, it's all implementation only now. I would be seeing your code. This is the time if you don't have GitHub profile that you create the GitHub profile and start pushing the code, saying that this is what my set of files. When your sequence diagram is done, like for example, Amrut would have now got an idea like I will have user interface.h, I will have in the middleware these two files .c and .h.
If you want to work with me personally, where I guarantee to work with you until you secure a well paid job, book a one on one call with me. Link is in the description.
How many of you are clear with this point? Yeah. Hold on for some time. This will be overwhelming. You will feeling, what is it? You are in the mid of the storm. But yes, after this, you will see that when the project slowly evolves, the last 2 weeks will be really hectic. Ask Ajay in the cohort challenge one, the toughest time was 3rd week only. After 3rd week, everybody was comfortable saying that, oh, okay, we understood what is happening. How many of you are already feeling the heat? Especially when because it has come to the coding part. Sagar, you are comfortable? Chill.
Yeah, I love it. Actually,
Yeah, you will overcome this. Yeah, keep that image right in front of you always, like how the data flows. Always think in that C terms only. Do not get into that C++ class and all those things. The methodology that we have used might be like that, but we are going to do in C only. So it's all that function calls, function calls, function calls. We are not even thinking that we will use some callback mechanism or something. Simple one function calling another. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And if there are no questions, we will conclude the call and the recording will be shared soon once it is uploaded. So no questions, Aditya, no questions, Anirudh. Raghavendra, Chaitanya. Cool then. Best of luck. Tomorrow we will meet. By the time I will be anyway sharing the GitHub links. One link has already been shared to you. The source code also has been, the videos are also shared to you. This particular GitHub link for this particular source code will be shared. The exact link where you will see the HTTP server code only, not any other thing. Spend time, read some theory, get onto your favorite channel, not favorite channel, favorite medium, which is YouTube. Get some understanding and look at the code. Yeah. So Ajay, now your turn to take the snap. Raghavendra, is it possible for you to come? Yeah. Great. Okay. Thank you very much. See you again on Monday. Bye. Have a great weekend.
Bye.